Hey everybody, hope you guys are well. I know it's, what is it, Monday evening. Sometimes when you get to my age, you forget what day it is, especially when you have one of these jobs that doesn't feel like a job. When I come to Simoson, it feels like I'm just having a great time because I love hanging out here. I love to mingle with the people and I know I don't usually come to you in the evening only because that's the way I've decided to set it up. But tonight I have to do it differently because there are some things that we have to discuss as a people. And on this platform, I think it's one of those important topics. When they come around, we do everything within our power to sprinkle a little SML TV dust on it and throw it out to you and see if you can bounce it off to me and see if we can swirl it around and see if we can decode and decipher and unravel and unpackage and redefine the things that have been thrown out there. Hence the reason I've come to you tonight. Let's talk about it, guys. Let me begin by saying that I am so thankful. I am so thankful that this guy, J.J. Banda, was not found dead somewhere on the side of a lake or in the river, because the truth is, and let me burst out the gate and say this from the very outset and from the very onset of this broadcast. The truth is, everybody knows that had J.J. Banda been found dead somewhere, even if there was a videotape of him hanging himself or killing himself or offing himself in some way, Walungu and his group would have been shouting from the highest mountaintops, and they would have been singing the chorus that the UPND have killed J.J. Banda and the Zambian people are next. That was their plan. That was their modus operandi. That was the scheme. That was the gimmick. That was the game plan of Walungu and his group to create a scenario. And I can tell you convincingly, I can tell you quite honestly, that the whole time, the whole 48 hours that J.J. Banda was missing, Walungu, Edith Nawakwi, little man Munir Zulu, the little man, the PF female member of parliament from Infoy, these people were praying. They were on their knees, hoping, praying, beseeching that J.J. Banda be found dead so that they can now unravel and unroll and roll out their next phase of confusion. And they would have stepped up to the microphone and said to the Zambian people, it is time to rise. It's time to take up arms. It's time to defend yourself, because this administration is trying to kill you. And there's a handful, there's a cluster, there's a group of deplorables that would have believed that lie, and they would have perpetuated that narrative and that lie. To do what? To cause civil unrest. That was the goal. Oh, you must understand that. You must see it for what it is. But oh, I'll tell you what, killing a person or having themselves killed is not an easy thing. All of a sudden, in the wee hours of this morning, we began to hear whispers. We began to hear the bleating of the sheep. And it started to come out that J.J. Banda had been discovered. He'd been found. He was, the first initial reports were that he was a bit bruised. And they got him, and they first took him to Medland. Now, the question is, who first found him? Who first found J.J. Banda because the story is, and according to the police report, the police received a phone call from someone in Kafue, some farm in Kafue, and they said, look, we've got a guy here we think is J.J. Banda. And so the police went over to this farm and they found J.J. Banda laying on the doorstep of some kitchen, sprawled out on the ground. And they identified him, because the police had gone there with some family members. Now, the moment they got him, he became a person of interest because this J.J. Banda case has become a very sensitive one. It's become a case that is teetering on national security. Not that J.J. Banda is an important person. No, that's not the issue. The issue is the opposition, Valungu, Nawakwi, Munir Zulu, that young woman, that PFMP from Mfue, that female PFNP from MP from Mfue, they spun this narrative that J.J. Banda had been abducted by the police, and they perpetuated this false idea that the state was trying to get rid of J.J. Banda. And I kept on saying to you, the number one question you should ask yourself is motive. What would the motive be? When you say the state, for those of you that believe that the state abducted J.J. Banda, the first question you must begin to ask yourself is motive. What would the motive be? For what? What reason would the state have to abduct J.J. Banda? Who the hell is J.J. Banda? Because as far as we know, the only thing that J.J. Banda is known for is when he ambushed a police station, he urinated in the mouth of a journalist, and he slipped through the cracks of justice because it was at a time when the PF were in power. That's the only reason he escaped the noose of the law, was because that was during the time that the PF were in power. So you fast forward to 2024, then you begin to ask the question, well, if you assume that the state would abduct J.J. Banda, for what? For what? If in fact the law wanted to bring J.J. Banda to book for his past crimes and misdemeanors, they would have simply done it. They're the police. They would have simply gone to Petauke there and said, "Iwe Banda, iwe ufunika. Urinkani inangu. Inkani yotundira bantu mukamwa. Inkani yakuchita ambush police station. Twabwera kukutenga." They would have simply done it. But then when you shroud all of this, when you cover it, when you camouflage it in, no, the state has abducted JJ. For what? There's no reason. And even if there was a reason, the police would tell us that, oh, JJ, we're abducting you, not abducting, we are arresting you, we're apprehending you for these reasons. And they would give their reasons. And I think it's wrong for the opposition to coin this phrase, abduction. When the police apprehend you, you're not being abducted. You're being arrested and apprehended. Because the PF have somehow replaced the word arrest with abduction. As far as the PF are concerned, no one should ever be arrested. Anytime the police are concerned, it's abduction. That's rubbish. Imagine a society without the police. The PF are trying to spin the narrative that the police are no good, we don't need the police are vagabonds, the police are has-beens, the police are rejects. Imagine for a moment a society without the police. It would be bedlam. It would be absolute anarchy. That's the type of narrative the PF are trying to peddle. They want a society. They want a community where law does not abide. They want a society and a community where law-abiding citizens do not exist, because that's the type of environment that we're used to operating in. So anytime a PF Kada says abduction, what they're really saying is anytime the police are involved, it's not an arrest, it's an abduction. Wrong. When the police need you, they want you, they will get you. Now, let me go back to the point where, JJ Banda was declared, identified. They identified him and they found him. Then there was this fracas. You know what a fracas is? Kerfuffle. In Zambia, we say hafwafa. At Medland Hospital. Apparently, when JJ was taken there, JJ's sisters and family, they were yelling, don't take him, leave him alone. Well, honey, he's now a person of interest. And the first people that need to talk to him are the police. Who do you think is going to talk to him first? Valungu. Who do you want to interrogate and interview JJ Banda? You want Valungu and the PF thugs to sit with JJ Banda and say, okay, mune, tuwele nomba chali shani. So that if we got to have interrogation room, because we as PF are now interviewing you, JJ Banda, as the one who was missing for 48 hours. Tell us what happened so that you end up whatever. We turn around and tell the nation. You think the PF are the ones who are supposed to do that? That's nonsense. It's the police that's supposed to. That is the sole preserve of law enforcement. Police. Like them, loathe them, hate them, despise them. In your mind, whether or not they're despicable, that's the truth. Live with it. The first point of contact, our first line of defense in any society is the police. The police are the ones that sit you down and ask you, because the police know that your story was standing on the edge of catastrophe. So you are a vital piece of the puzzle, and they must question you and question you thoroughly. Thoroughly, my friend, because the police have to get to the bottom of all of this. Now, here's the thing. Whatever JJ Banda says is critical. If he misses a step, if he lies, if he embellishes, oh, he's going to prison. Oh, it's going to be a sad day when JJ Banda goes to prison, boy. I'll tell you what, if he doesn't tell the truth, if all the dots don't connect, if his story is not corroborated, there's a word, you know that word corroborated? It means all the pieces have to fit. If there are 15 pieces to the story, if there are 15 pieces to the story, every single piece of that story has to fit and has to make sense. The moment it doesn't, oh, JJ's going to jail, boy. And everybody that's involved in this scheme, in this plot, in this skullduggery is going to jail. I'll tell you this, and I'm going to quote it. Valungu and group have realized that tribalism is a tool that they want to use to regain political power. Right before JJ Banda was declared discovered, right before they found him, the PF, led by Valungu, were trying to spin a tribal narrative yet again. You know, Munir, Zulu, Edith Nawakwi. I've never, in all of my life, I've never heard, I've never met such a wretched politician like Edith Nawakwi. Edith Nawakwi, it is the quintessential wicked witch of politics. I mean, that woman is literally sitting in her room chanting and dancing around the fire while spewing HH's name and calling death to this administration. I've never in all of my life seen a woman so wretchedly debauched as Edith Nawakwi. I've never seen it. All of these players, all of these guys, they realize that tribalism is a tool that they want to use to drive a wedge that will separate the Zambian people. That's their plan. But the truth is, the Zambian people see right through them. The Zambian people have them sussed out. The Zambian people know who they are. The Zambian people have deciphered the spirit that resides within them, and it is the spirit of tribalism, hate, division, dissension, and debauchery. Oh, we got you picked. We know exactly what your plan is, but it's going to fail. It's going to fail because you can't divide us politically. You tried it prior to 2021. You tried it to the run-up to the elections. You tried it and you failed miserably. You did. And here it is, you're trying it again, but you're not going to succeed. You're not going to succeed. But these guys, they've seen that this is a tool that they can potentially use in their minds. Prior to 2021, Edgar Lungu sent out Chishimba Kambwili, you go proselytize the Zambian people. Try and convince the Zambian people that this Tonga will never be the president. And yet he's the very Tonga we wanted. He tried to crisscross this nation, moving to and fro on the face of the earth like the devil. And he tried to tell the Zambian people, tried to tell them that this man should be rejected. But the Zambian people stood up in unison and they said, this is the very man we want. Whenever this chap, why me, Munir Zulu, this woman from Mfue, this female PFMP from Mfue, whenever they spew tribalism, Edgar Lungu is forever silent. He never speaks. He never stands up against tribalism. The whole time that Chishimba Kambwili was trying to proselytize the Zambian people, the whole time that Chishimba Kambwili became an evangelist for tribalism, hate, and division and dissension, never one time did Ralungu step up and say, Chishimba, you watch yourself now. Don't you talk about those people like that. Never one time. When this why me, this bottom feeder, this vagabond, this leech, this moocher of a deranged mind, a young man called Why Me that has completely lost touch with his senses. Whenever he would spew his tribalism, Balungu never said anything. He kept quiet. When Munir Zulu would spew his hate and say that Tongas are no longer welcome to the east, Balungu never said not a one thing. He didn't say a thing. He didn't whisper a peep. That tells you something. That's saying something. Oh, Zambians, wake up, listen, that's saying something. Balungu's trying to tell you something. You listen. But it's not going to work. So all I have to say to you tonight, my brothers and sisters, is that JJ Banda has got a story to tell us, and we're all ears. And whatever story he tells, whatever yarn he spins, oh, it's going to have to make sense. But if JJ Banda misses a step, if he doesn't tell the truth, if he embellishes, if he lies, if he misleads, oh, he's going to jail. And oh, it's going to be a sad day when JJ Banda goes to jail, boy. But it has to happen if he doesn't tell the truth. It means he is an agent of confusion. If he doesn't tell the truth, he wants to lend to this narrative that this administration's out to kill everybody. Now, we know that's not the truth. That's a lie. That's a lie of the devil, and you know it. All right. I thought I'd share that with y'all. All right. You sound like True watching from Chinzali. Thank you. Thank you. Well, hey, guys, I got to go. Thank you for watching. God bless. Good night.